Have you ever wondered what triggers an episode of violence in the seemingly eternal Israel-Palestine conflict? What are the dominoes that fall, leading to a crescendo of chaos? Today, we delve into the sequence of events leading up to the recent drone attacks, a new development in this complex conflict. To understand the drone attacks, we must first rewind to the events that led to this escalation. In the heart of the Middle East, Israel and Palestine have been locked in a decades-long conflict. This struggle is not just about land or resources, it's about identity, culture, and the right to self-determination. In the early 2020s, this age-old conflict began to take a new turn. Iran, a regional power, started taking a more active role in the dispute. With its own complex set of motivations, ranging from geopolitical strategy to religious solidarity, Iran's involvement added another layer of complexity to an already convoluted situation. As the political climate heated up, the world watched with bated breath. The tension was palpable, like a powder keg waiting for a spark. And then, the spark came. It wasn't a declaration of war or a major offensive. Instead, it was something much smaller, and yet much more insidious. A drone. These unmanned aerial vehicles, once the stuff of science fiction, had become a very real and very dangerous weapon. Iran launched a series of drone attacks on Israeli territory, marking a significant escalation in the conflict. The drones, relatively small and difficult to detect, created a sense of fear and uncertainty that rippled through Israeli society. These attacks were not just a military strategy, they were also a powerful psychological weapon. The feeling of being constantly watched, of never knowing when or where the next attack might come, created an environment of fear and tension that was felt by everyone in the region. The international community was thrust into a delicate balancing act. On one hand, there was a need to condemn the attacks and to ensure the safety and security of Israel. On the other hand, there was a desire to avoid further escalation and to find a diplomatic solution to the conflict. This timeline paints a picture of the intricate web of political and military maneuvers that culminated in these attacks. The drone attacks didn't just cause immediate destruction, they sparked a series of reactions both locally and globally. In the ravaged landscapes of Israel, the drone attacks ignited a blaze of defiance. The nation rallied, vowing to protect their homeland and retaliate. And retaliate they did, their response a mirror of their resolve, a testament to their resilience. Meanwhile, the Palestinian territories, already marred by a history of conflict, were thrown into a whirlpool of uncertainty. Fear and apprehension hung heavily in the air, an unwelcome shroud over their hopes for peace. Across the border, Iran stood firm, a steely facade to the world. Beneath their outward bravado, however, the tension was palpable. The drone attacks had set a new precedent, and they were waiting, watching, calculating the world's response. And the world did respond. The international community was thrust into a diplomatic frenzy, grappling with the delicate balancing act between condemnation and mediation. Nations found themselves walking a tightrope, their every move scrutinized, their every word echoing in the hallways of global politics. But amidst this geopolitical turmoil, the human impact was impossible to ignore. Lives were lost, homes were destroyed, and dreams were shattered. Beneath the rubble and the ruin, the real cost of the conflict was etched in the faces of the innocent. The aftermath of these attacks illustrates the far-reaching implications of this conflict beyond the immediate damage. In the face of such turmoil, the quest for peace is more pressing than ever. The Israel-Palestine conflict, a tale as old as time, continues to echo through the corridors of power. It's a conflict that has seen generations grapple for a solution, carving out a terrain of diplomacy that is as complex as it is intricate. The role of diplomacy and international intervention is pivotal in this quest. The world watches, anticipating the delicate dance of negotiation and compromise. The challenges are immense, the stakes are high, but the shimmer of hope remains. It's a hope that is nurtured by those who dream of a peaceful Middle East, of a land where the echoes of conflict are replaced by the symphony of coexistence. Potential solutions are plentiful, but their implementation is a task of Herculean proportions. It requires the dismantling of deep-rooted animosities, the bridging of cultural divides, and the healing of historical wounds. It's a task that calls for courage and resilience, for a steadfast commitment to peace. As we look forward to a future where peace prevails, we must remember that each event in this conflict is a piece of a larger puzzle, a step in a journey that is far from over.